Hello, this is the LEGO Creator Expert Vespa 125. This comes with 1,106 pieces, and I bought it for the retail price of $100 US and built it live over on Twitch. I figured a bunch of you would want to see something like this quickly to help establish size and scale. Unfortunately, I no longer have the Harley-Davidson Creator Expert set to compare this to, but the Harley-Davidson motorcycle is also a much smaller scale than the Vespa. Now, the weird thing on the handlebar is a helmet. We'll take a look at that independently later on. I want to focus on the main build first. The build process for this felt strangely conventional. Like there's a whole lot of just straightforward studs on top of studs construction. And it's not until you get an entire sub-assembly done that you tend to go and switch to studs on the side construction, where you're basically just taking a whole thing that you just built conventionally and sticking it on to the side of something else that was in turn built conventionally, or a combination of other things that were built conventionally. So it felt really smooth. It did not feel like a high-end build experience, although the design definitely feels high-end, and some of the ways that some of these assemblies came together kind of blew my mind a little bit. It was very, very satisfying putting a lot of these things together, getting a lot of the curves, realizing that there are a lot of straight angles in this. Not only the rake for the front fork and all the supports there, but the angling, the fact that this is angled off a little bit. This is the top part of this is angled down. There are a whole bunch of things inside behind this side pod on either side that really just fit together almost like a jigsaw puzzle inside of there. The fact that the tail part of the fender right here is angled back, all that stuff. I mean, this is the spare tire holder here, the way that's angled, even the way the handlebars themselves up top get angled, and how smooth all that is and how well it works together. It's very, very impressive to me. Just seriously how easy this is to assemble, and yet how high level it is in terms of design. And it obviously looks great. I mean, I could kind of just stop right here if I wanted to, right? I don't need to go in too much more detail than this, because look at it. It looks fantastic. I don't think I have a single favorite section of this. I would probably have to pick out the wheels and tires, which we'll look at more closely, but I first wanted to just focus on, getting the overall view of it. Oh yeah, the handlebars are another place where you've got an angle in there that's very interesting, and you'll find a lot of nice parts usage. Notice this is built upside down right here. That's a sticker. There are a fair number of stickers in this. But this is like a box, an upside down box piece, sometimes used as a square rubbish container, which is cool. And I mean, the number of recolors that were ordered for this set is pretty impressive as well. The headlight assembly is very nice. That sticker there, and that really shows you just how the color difference is between the sticker sheet itself and its background versus the color, the light royal blue color of the parts. And there's an interesting thing right here with this Vespa logo being cut out separately. That works pretty well, but you compare this to that, it's a completely different strategy. And you'll find another place where something like this is done, but with a full-size sticker that covers the entire piece. This is a nice little area. I like how these two halves come together. Again, we're going to have to take a better look at those wheels and tires. Let me swap this around and get down lower for you. Look at this. This almost doesn't look like Lego at this point, because this is a brand new tire, and it is just very, very thin, because the white is a piece of plastic that is integrated with the gray there. That is a dual molded brand new wheel, same one used front and rear. The white portion is suggesting the white wall of a tire, but it's actually part of the single wheel piece. It's all comes together. It's rather solid. It's rather heavy. There's a lot of plastic in there. And then they have this very realistic tread pattern that they came up with for the tire. And it's very thin. The material is very thin, feels very soft, and it's just deluxe. I like it so much. I really appreciate all that extra work that went into developing this and producing it both for this, and I hope to see this used a lot more in the future. This can also be used in the future with a different insert for a classic car. Hopefully they will do some larger scale classic cars that take advantage of this. Obviously all of this is studs on the side construction, but once again it was done studs right side up and then rotated and just attached to the frame, which itself is built up with just studs right side up construction. And you got some rails here with the modified plates with rails on the side to provide a little bit of extra traction and friction for feet. That's a sticker right there. In the middle, it's the whole thing is tilted at an angle. This is one place where you can see a little bit of color that you don't want to see, and it's relatively subtle, just a little bit of yellow back in there. Other than that, most of the interior colors are pretty well hidden away. This doesn't look fantastic right there, but all the shaping inside is pretty nice. You can see the hinging right there, which allows all of the upper half of this to be angled back a bit. And if you look in there a little bit more closely, you'll notice that there are some differences in color between different parts. Like, look very closely in here. It's multiple colors. It's not just different levels of opacity, it's different hues. So some of these pieces have a little bit more red in them, and others are a little bit more bluish. And that's actually fairly obvious to my eyes in some places. As noticeable as this here. So this is one of the stickers that I mentioned earlier that is done very differently from the Vespa logo up on the front, because this could have been just this little cutout right here, but they instead cover the entire piece, which makes the difference of color of the sticker base a lot more obvious because there's so much more of it. Back up top, the seats are probably the least interesting things to me. They're just rather flat and practically one-dimensional. A certain amount of thickness, just a little bit of curvature up here, but otherwise they're pretty straightforward, and that goes for both of them. This is a printed piece here, not a new piece, but a print for the gas cap. And then coming all the way to the back, there is a removable basket or a little crate in the basket, I should say. And that does include a bouquet of flowers. And these flowers are very nice, using the pieces most frequently used as cracked eggs, open cracked large eggs, and yeah, just regular flower pieces inside. That's nice, but this is what the basket looks like. Of course, this whole thing can be removed. It's just attached with a couple clips there. You can also adjust the angle of the back. On the back, this has on the tail itself, this has a couple of stickers right there, and there's the tail light, which has a good amount of depth to it. Looking back here, I believe this is the exhaust over here. I had that angled wrongly previously, but things look simple on this side, better, more interesting over here. There is a suggestion of an engine under here. This round piece is a print, not a sticker. A little suggestion of the cooling fins on the engine head there, and then you got the Kickstarter as well that you can bring down. It's a little bit on the flimsy side, but it's good that it's there. And then this pretty much finishes up the details to be seen. The center stand can be fully retracted if you want to, but of course, it's just going to fall over at that point. But this is very effective, and it does have the little rubber ends on there, little rubber bushings at the end, so that it's not going to slip around. If you're going to keep this whoa! That was a loss of focus. If you're going to keep this on display long term, I do recommend that you do something to elevate the rear as well, because there's a lot of weight that comes down on this very thin-walled rubber tire, and it'll probably flat spot over time. Finally, this is the helmet build that I showed you briefly earlier on. It does have hollow construction to it, kind of a suggestion that it could really be put over a head. You got the chin strap down here, and then the goggles, which can also be lifted partway out of the way. This is probably too small overall. Maybe this would be considered to be for kids. Yeah, it's definitely underscaled relative to the scooter, but it's a nice little inclusion to take up the remainder of the parts budget for the set. These are the leftover pieces, including some good bars in good colors, and this is a little attempt to capitalize off the popularity of the legendary pink cone from the Ninjago City Gardens set. You should never have a cone left over. It's too large of a piece, but Ninjago City Gardens had pink cone that basically manifested itself and took on a life of its own, and now they've added in this, and it sounds like a lot of people are getting this, which is very nice. Little baby blue or powder blue cone. It's cute and all, but it's no pink cone. I don't feel too bad about the price of this at $100 US for the amount of stuff that I get here. It's not about the volume of plastic, of supposedly high quality plastic, but the design is really, really nice. It has a lot of presence in a room. It is good enough. It is close enough to scale model to where it really has that collectible feel to it. It really feels like somebody who either wants to show off just something that looks like this to feel a little bit more, I don't know, classy in a given space, or is specifically a fan of Vespas, would be happy having this as a scale model on display, as opposed to an option, if such a thing exists, of let's say a 1/6 scale or thereabouts, or maybe 1/5 scale, even quarter scale. No, I think 1/5 scale static model of some sort. You know, the fact that this is Lego does not take away, the fact that it's made from Lego does not take away from its display value in this case. Oftentimes when I look at things as display models, such as stuff like, you know, things like this are, I have to consider, well, what else can you get for a display model for the same price? And oftentimes you can get things that look way, way, way better than the Lego versions for a similar price. In this case, this is more than good enough. So there is more value here to me than just the sum of the parts. Really good stuff. Lots of part recolors, wonderful build process. The one thing that I will not accept and I will always complain about is when parts are different colors. The difference of color in a couple of the stickers and the backing, the inconsistency in how much backing is used is a little bit wonky, but worst case scenario, you can cut out some of the extra parts there. You can't just do that. You can't solve for yourself the problem of different pieces that are supposed to be the same color being different colors. And Lego primarily makes plastic. That's what they do. They injection mold plastic. They've been doing it for a long, long time. So and again, they made over $1 billion net profit in 1/2 of the year in 2021. They can invest enough into quality control to get this right, to get consistency from batch to batch. It is a difficult process. It's not easy, but they can do it, and they should when they're charging premium prices for their products. But beyond that, if they can ever get past that problem, and thankfully it's not as bad in this as it has been with some other colors and in some other kits, but I still will call it out when I see it. We shouldn't be able to obviously notice differences between parts that are supposed to be the same color. But other than that, this is wonderful. It makes me really feel good. Even though I'm not a fan of the source material myself at all, I don't really care about it. This made me care about it. It's just good. And it just felt good to put together. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. More things to build on Twitch, more videos to bring you right here as reviews. Soon I'll be getting back again to work on the custom stuff on the city. Bye for now.